Guys, I'm going to start today's video off with a question for you. Have you ever dropped your Harley Davidson touring motorcycle? Guys, my name is Rick and this is the HDVIBE channel. I'm going to answer that question for myself. I have dropped my Harley Davidson touring motorcycles, one of them that I've had over the years, on a few occasions. Most of those have been at slow speeds. And typically what you'll find is you don't get any damage up front because they do have the crash or engine guards up front that come stock. But if you have a Street Glide, a Road Glide, or the special models, a Road King Special, Electra Glide Standard, and a few other models in the touring line that maybe I've forgotten, you don't have saddlebag guards on the back of the bike to protect those saddlebags, and these things can be very expensive. So one of the first things I typically do on all my bikes, and honestly I've been remiss in doing it on the CVO Street Glide, is add saddlebag guards. So in today's video I'm going to show you, one, how easy it is to put these on. Secondly, I'm going to go over a couple different options you can choose from when deciding on what saddlebag guards to put on your motorcycle. And then lastly, stay tuned to the end. I'm also going to show you something that you can actually add to those saddlebag guards so that you don't even get a mar or a scrape on those. And we'll get into all that right after this. So guys, if you've ever dropped your touring motorcycle like I have, the first thing that can get damaged if you don't have saddlebag guards on it is obviously the saddlebags. But beyond that, the other portion of the rear end of the bike that can get damaged is actually your slip-ons. So if you have stock slip-ons, maybe not that big a deal. But if you're like me, I've got Reinhardt DBX 45s on here. Those are not inexpensive, and you get scratches and mars on those, and it's not going to be a good day. So to put saddlebag guards on your touring motorcycle, it's not too awfully difficult. But to get started, obviously I need to get the bags off, I need to get the seat off, and I need to get the side cover off. And I'm going to do that, and we'll come back and we'll get onto this pretty simple install, just a few bolts and a little bit of time, and you can protect those. And again, stay tuned to the end because I'm also going to compare and tell you what kit I used and compare that price to the Harley Davidson price, and also show you another little secret that I've found to even protect both your front crash bars and your saddlebag guards. So I've gotten all the saddlebags off and the side covers off. So that reveals this rail, which will actually be replacing with the new kit. So in order to get this rail off, we've got to remove this. This is a T40, we'll remove that. I've already actually taken the 1/2-inch bolts out of the slip-on. So I'm going to see if I can get this off without having to take the slip-ons off. And then I've got to remove this T40 bolt here, and then there's another one here that sort of holds this rail to the frame of the bike. So the challenge is actually going to be getting this bolt off. So the T40 comes in from this side, which doesn't give me much room between the fascia. And I'm going to try to avoid having to take this entire fascia off of the bike in order to get these bolts out, because I recently actually just had those off when I replaced the taillights in this fascia on the CVO Street Glide. And I'll have a link to that video if you're interested in how to change these lights out. So I'm going to try to do that with, put my bit in there and do a lock set of pliers, lock that in, and then try to get this nut off. This one comes off pretty easy. I can get in there because I can get the T40 in from this side, plenty of room there. So that's going to be the most challenging part, is just getting this bolt out. But then once I get that out, I'll just take this T40 out here, and then this whole rail will just come off, and then we'll replace that with the rail that comes in the kit. Now I've got both of these bolts holding the rear part of this out. You can see that's loose now. Now I just need to remove this T40, and then this bracket can come right off. So that T40 is out. It actually has a nut on the back, which is a 9/16. So now as you can see, this whole bracket is loose, and I can just remove that off of the bike. And now this is all open and ready for the new kit. This is the kit that I'll be using. As you can see, it's very well packed. So I pulled the protective cover off of this. This will be the rail that we just replaced and took off of there. You can see this has got the bracket that slides up onto the frame. So we've got 2 of those. We've got the hardware with new brackets and new rubber that goes in the back that holds the slip-ons on. In addition to the rails that run along the bottom to hold the bottom of the saddlebag, you've got the saddlebag guards, which you'll see these look a little different in that they have this connection here, which will connect into that pipe. And then we have all of the hardware that comes with it. So this kit is complete. And the only thing that, at least on the CVO, that was not included, it's not included on any of these kits, but I did not have these T40s that actually go up underneath the seat. When you take your seat off, you probably see these. If you have a Street Glide or Road Glide or Electric Glide, these T40s are already there, but for some reason, I don't know if it's the CVO thing because of the seats, but these were not there. So I actually had to get these from my local Harley Davidson dealership. I've got this bottom rail on. I slid it over the frame here. And then I went ahead and aligned the rail into the saddlebag guard itself. There's a hole here, and then there's a supplied bolt and a nut that goes in there. So I got that lined up and loosely attached. So now I can go ahead and push this in place and get these get a bolt in here to kind of hold that in place, so then we can begin to tighten everything up. So I've got this bolt back in there and loose. And then this one, if you remember, this was in the opposite orientation. I'm actually, to make this easier, I'm actually going to put the T45 head up here toward the front so I have more room. And then I'm just going to put the nut on the back so that way I can get the wrench on it. I'm not exactly sure why Harley Davidson puts it on there that way, but there must be some reason. But for me, it seems simpler that I can just flip that around. I can get my wrench on here. I can get my T40 bit in here easier and get that all cranked down. So now I'm pretty much ready. I've got all the bolts in. I'm pretty much ready to get this thing tightened up and ready to begin to reconnect the slip-on. So now I need to slip this rubber piece into the slot that's on the bottom of the rail. Let me show you on the stock piece. So we've got this rubber piece in here. So obviously sort of the smile, if you will, goes up. This little notch actually goes to the front side so that you don't push it through. And then we've got new supplied chrome brackets that will slide through there. So one little trick on that, when you're trying to get those in there, it's pretty tight. So you might want to put some like glass cleaner or even some dish soap in there to make that easier to slide through there. And again, this sort of goes in the orientation where the smile is up. So everything is back on the bike. I've gotten all the bolts tightened. The 2 bolts back here, the bolts going into the bracket on the slip-on. Got T40 here and a T40 up on the top. So everything is done. I went ahead and sprayed down all the chrome here because I did get some oils from my fingers on there, just kind of get that all wiped down. And now we're ready to put the side cover back on and put the bags on, reconnect all of my plugs here for the speakers, for the lighting, the custom dynamics lighting, and see how this thing works out. So that's it, guys. Pretty simple installation. It all went together very well. And as promised, I want to tell you which kit that I actually went with. You saw earlier, it was very nicely packaged, probably some of the nicest packaged stuff I've ever seen. Everything was wrapped, very well bubble wrapped, no scratches, no issues. The chrome is very good on this. The fitment was right on. I actually ordered this kit from eBay, and I will actually put a link down in the description to the eBay version, which I paid $51 for. Now you can get the complete kit from Harley Davidson. And again, be careful because you can order just this part and the bottom rail separately, or you can order the kit. I'll actually put a link to the kit if you want to go Harley Davidson. That's about $255, so over $200 more for essentially pretty much the same kit. I got a great fit. Maybe this bar is a little thicker on the Harley version, but honestly, I've used eBay or Amazon versions of these on now five bikes with no issues whatsoever. They've performed well. So a savings of $200 if you want to go eBay route. If you don't, I'll have the link to the Harley Davidson version. So the last thing I want to talk about is these little plastic covers. So I do a lot of slow speed practice, and even with these saddlebag guards, you're bound to drop the bike. And what will happen is you'll kind of mar up the saddlebag guard. So you can actually buy these. And I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but these are actually a little bit scraped up because I have dropped the bikes with these previously. So you can get a kit that covers the front and the rear. Now, the kit that I had is actually for the full-size front engine guard. So I'm actually going to cut them down into 2 pieces and be able to put up on both of the bikes. But I only have one set of the rears. But these rears just kind of pop on and just kind of slide them onto this crash bar, the saddlebag guard. Just slide them onto the saddlebag guard, and they just kind of sit right there. And then if you do drop, this will rub the ground and you don't mar up your saddlebag guard. So a nice little item there as well. You get a kit. I think these are around $30 now. I think when I ordered them, they're about $20. Inflation and supply chain issues. But yeah, you can get these nice and solid, and this will protect you even further. I mean, not necessary, but as promised, another little tip that you can put on here so that you don't get your saddlebag guards marred up or your crash bars. So guys, that's it. Pretty simple install. I hope you enjoyed this. If you got something out of this video, you saw some value in it, please give it a thumbs up. Also, consider subscribing to the channel if you're not already. And when you do subscribe, please leave a comment down below saying I subscribe so I can personally reach out and thank you for supporting the channel. Also, hit that bell icon and select all so you do get notified every time I do put out new content. I've got over 150 videos on tips, tricks, rides, and reviews of products and installations on the Harley-Davidson touring motorcycles. I'm sure there's something additional there that you will find value in. And with that, guys, I want to leave you with this thought. Life is short. Get out and ride the bike. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye now.